Hi, welcome to the fourth video of the series of Python for Absolute Beginners. This is the first video where we will be actually starting writing code in Python. Now before starting Python, let me make it clear that we will be using Visual Studio Code as our code editor. Now that is of course my personal preference. You can use any code editor, that is absolutely fine, not a problem. But make sure if you are using Visual Studio Code, you watch my previous video where we have set up Visual Studio Code for running Python programs. There we have installed three extensions: the Python IntelliSense, the Code Runner, and the Prettier. The link to that video will be displayed on the screen on the top, as well as I'll share it in the description. Don't worry about it. You can watch that video first and then come here, not a problem. So let us begin with this video where we will be learning the two most important and the regularly used Python commands, and those are print and input. We'll start with the print command. So this is the screen of Visual Studio Code. If you are opening it first time, it will show you a welcome screen. Just close it. On this screen, the first thing that we have to do is click on File, click on New Text File. Once you click on it, this is the area where we will be writing our code. Now, the first thing after this is to save our file and give an extension to it. So we'll click on File, then click on Save, and then give a file name. I give it first.py. Now make sure you create a particular folder so you can store all your programs at one place. So I have made a folder in C drive Python programs, and in that I am storing this file first.py. Now why py? Because this is a Python file, and we have seen in the last video that what are extensions, and Python files are named as extension py. So save this file. So once you save this file, make sure you get this prompt here, that run Python file. Now this is here because we had installed those extensions in the first video. So for that reason, again I am telling you, if you have not watched that first video, make sure you watch that video and make sure you install all the three extensions. This is the area where we will be writing the first program. The first command that we are going to learn is print. So what is print command? Basically, print command, as the name suggests, is used for displaying or printing anything on the screen. And how it is written? There is a way of writing every command. Now let me introduce to you one more concept, and that is called as syntax. Syntax is grammar of computer language, any language. In English also we learn grammar, right? So why we learn grammar is basically we learn to frame sentences. If the grammar is wrong, then the sentence goes wrong. Similarly, in computer language also we have syntax for the commands. Now what are those? We'll see one by one. For the print, the syntax of the print command is as shown on the screen. We will break down and I'll explain you step by step. The first way of writing the print command is print, then bracket open, then double quotes, and then we can write anything in it, any characters. My first program in Python, and double quotes complete and bracket complete. Now this is the first way of writing. Now if you noticed, while I was typing, my code editor automatically completed this double quotes and bracket. Now this is because again of the extensions that we have installed in the first video. So make sure you watch that video and get those extensions installed. So the way of writing, the first way of writing print command is print, bracket open, quotes, then a string. What is a string? Basically, string is called a set of characters bound together in a double quote. Okay, so string is always in a double quote. So what I've written, the print command, bracket open, double quotes, and inside the double quotes I have written my text, and then the bracket is closed. Now this bracket is closed. Now if I press enter, the program will not run. To run the program in Visual Studio Code, we have this button here. Okay, so run Python file. So once you click on this, your program will run. But where it is running? It is running here. It is running in the terminal. See, it is printed this text that we have written. I can change the text. My first program in Python in Visual Studio Code. And then again, if I run the program, again this program will run here and it will show the output. My first program in Python in Visual Studio Code. Now let me bring this up. Let me zoom this out so it will be visible to you clearly. So this is how the print command is written, and this is one of the ways of writing the print command. Now one more thing. If I remove this single quote, what will happen? See, it has already given some red line and red here highlighting. So this is called a syntax highlighting, which is a feature of Visual Studio Code. And that's the reason we are using Visual Studio Code, which helps us write a program much easily as well as identify errors. If I run this program, what will happen? See, it is showing me the file Python on line number 1. This has an syntax error. EOL while scanning string literals. Make habit of this word, syntax error. Now, sometime back I told you what is syntax. Syntax is basically grammar of a computer programming language. What it is showing that we are having syntax error. That means the grammar of this statement, this command is wrong. Okay. Now, don't worry about these errors. Now, when I write 20-25 lines of programs, I usually get 5 to 6 errors. And that is absolutely fine. Getting errors is absolutely fine. Not a problem. The thing is, we should able to identify the error and rectify it. Now, that is more important. Now, I'll teach you as a beginner how to find out what type of error it is and how to rectify it. The easiest way is just copy this error. Select it, copy it, go to your Chrome in Google, just paste this error and click enter. Now, 99% of the time, you will get this link, you will get it as your first link. So of Stack Overflow. Just be friend to this website. Just click on this. And once you click on it, you will find out explanations given by other people, other coders on your error. If you see, there are some answers given. You are not putting quotes before the end of the line. Use quotes if you want to do this. So this is how they have explained the syntax. Now let us come on the code, and that means we have not ended the double quotes. As soon as I put my double quotes, the red line goes and I can run the program and it will execute again. Okay. So you can see your output in the terminal here. Those who are not able to see the terminal, you can go to view and click on terminal. View terminal. You can switch it on and off. Okay. So this was the first way of writing print command. To clear the console, you can directly type CLS or clear. CLS is basically clear the screen. So moving ahead, suppose I want to print, I want to display this exact line, including the print command on the screen. Right now what is happening is, if I run this command, only this statement is running, right? But if I want the whole command to be displayed on the screen, what I'll do is I'll write a print command. Okay. Then I'll put double quotes, and then what I'll do is I'll write this entire command. Right now I'm just copying Ctrl+C and pasting it here. So what will happen is, when I run the code, now you're getting a syntax error on line number 2 in this statement. The syntax is invalid syntax because you cannot write 2 double quotes nested to each other. One of the quotes should be single quote. Now suppose I make this as single quote inside one and this as a single quote, and now if I run the program, it is printed my first program in Python in Visual Studio Code, that is this line, and then it has printed the entire statement. Print my first program in Visual Studio Code. Okay, so this was just to show you that if you are using nested print statement, make sure you don't use 2 double quotes nested to each other. One should be single quote and one should be a double quote. Now there are some arguments that we can use with the print statement. Now what are these? I will delete the second line. I put a /n here. Okay, I'll clear the console first. CLS. So I write print, then into double quotes my first program in Python /n in Visual Studio Code, and I run it. So what is happening is, it is printing my first program in Python, and then in Visual Studio Code is coming on the second line. Okay, so this /n is called as a new line character, /n. Whatever is written in front of /n, \n, it comes to the second line. Okay, so this is one of the arguments that we can use with print statement. The second way of writing print statement is, we can write multiple strings in a print statement. For example, first string, comma, second string. Okay, and if I run this, I'll get first string and the second string side by side. Okay, so this is one way of writing print command. We can also make use of concatenation. What is concatenation? Merging 2 strings. Okay, so if instead of comma, if I write plus, I'll get the same result However, there is a slight difference. See, print first string plus second string. So first string and second string, there is no space in between. Okay, when we had used comma, there was first string and there was a space and there was a second string. Here there is no space between first and the second string. What does plus statement do? It just concatenates two strings. It joins the two strings. Now we will see one more way of writing a print command, and that is using a separator. Now let me show you. Now if I write first string, then I write second string, and then I write the third string, comma, and ahead of it, if I write the argument sep is equal to dash dash. Okay, I can write any string there. I'll show you what happens. Okay, let me clear the console before running the program so it will be clear to you. So what I've written is print statement into bracket, first string, double quotes, second string in double quotes, third string in double quotes, separated by comma, and then I've written the arguments sep and then given a string, that is dash dash. What is happening is first string, second string and third string, there is a separator, and that separator is whatever we provided here. Suppose I write equal to 3 equal to and I run it. So now what is happening between the three strings? The separator is this, whatever we put in the separator argument. So this is also one of the ways of writing print statement. Now here I have shown you print statement writing a string, that is anything in double quotes. Now we can also print variables. Again, for people who have watched my previous video where I had explained algorithm, in that video I had explained what are variables. So we can also print variables using print statement. Now anything we put in double quotes here is called as a string, right? So if we print anything which is not in a double quote, what will happen? The first thing is it will give an error, because the syntax of the print command is writing something in a double quote. But if we are not using a double quote and we are writing some alphabet, for example, and if I run it, okay, now it will give an error. But now the error is not syntax error. The error is name error. Error, that is A is not defined. So what is happening is Python is expecting this to be a variable. If we don't put double quotes, Python expects that anything in a print statement without a double quote is a variable. Now what is a variable? Again, we had seen in the video of algorithm that what is variable. A variable is a name given to a memory location where we are storing something. For example, if you write A is equal to 30, here we can write if A is equal to 30. That means in the memory we are storing number 30 and that location is pointed by A, variable A. I can use another variable that B is equal to 25. So again 25 will be stored in the memory and it will be pointed by a variable named B. Now if I write print A and I run it, I'll just clear the console again before running so it is clear to you. See, it is printed this first string separated, so this is executed, then it comes down A is equal to 30, B is equal to 25. It will store A and B in the memory with the numbers 30 and 25 respectively, and now it has printed 30. Why? Because we have written print A. Now if I write print B and run this command, so first line is executed, it is printing is A and B, it is storing in the memory, print A, so 30 is printed, print B, 25 is printed. Now I can do one more thing, like C is equal to A plus B. So what will happen is whatever the number in A will be retrieved, whatever number in the B will be retrieved, they will be added and the addition will be stored in another variable, that is C. Now if I write print C, if I write print C, okay, I'll just remove this line here, it is not needed now. So we'll have less confusion. I'll clear the program. Okay. And I run it. So again, what we are doing is we are using two variables A and B, 30 and 25. We are printing the first variable, we are printing the second variable, then we are adding it and storing in a third variable and then printing the third variable. So just run it. Okay. So this is A, this is B, and this is C. Okay. But now this is not very clear, right? We are not understanding what is 30, 25, 55. Let us modify this. To modify this, what we will do is I'll write print the first number is, and I'll give a space and a double quote and a comma. Okay, and then the variable a. Now why a is out of the double quote? Because a is a variable. Always remember, a variable is always outside double quotes. Similarly, in b we will write the second number is space double quote complete comma b. Then we will add c is equal to a plus b, and we will write the addition is space comma c. Right? Now if I run this program, what is happening is, see, the first number is 30, the second number is 25, the addition is 55. More clear, right? So this is how a print statement can be written in various ways. Now before moving, let us understand something more about variables. The first thing is variable. The name of the variable should be meaningful. That means whatever you are naming the variable, it should be understood by you after you read the program yourself after some time. Okay. So instead of writing C, what I'll do is I'll write addition. Addition is equal to A plus B. Now if I, instead of C, if I run the program without changing anything here, what will happen is it will give an error, right? Error in line number 6. Addition is C. Name C is not defined. It's saying name C is not defined because we have changed the name of C to addition. So here also we'll have to change the variable name. Addition. Okay. So now I'll just clear this and execute again. Okay. The addition is 55. So nothing has changed. What I have changed is just name of the variable. Okay. I can write capital A, small a, but if I write small a here, I should use the small a here also. Okay. I cannot use capital A here. It will be termed as a different variable. It will give an error. So use the same case as you are using above. Okay. So what I have changed is instead of C, I have written addition. So the name of the variable has become more meaningful. So I'll add something here. I will add subtraction is equal to A minus B. Multiplication is equal to A into B. Okay. And then we can write print comma. See, it is again suggesting us, we have used a variable. So Visual Studio Code is suggesting us that this is the variable we can use. Just press tab. Suppose it is giving you a suggestion here, just press tab and it will be added. You don't have to write the entire statement. It saves our time. Print the multiplication is, see, again it is showing me, it is giving me a suggestion of the variable that we have used, the multiplication. Okay, I'll just give space here. So if I clear this and if I execute this program now, what will happen? The first number is 30, the second number is 25, the addition is, now it has done this calculation and come here, the addition is addition. Now addition variable is A plus B, that is 55. The subtraction is 5 and the multiplication is 750 and the program has ended. The reason for showing this was that we should have meaningful names to our variables so we can understand it later. This is how a print statement is written. These are the different ways of writing print statement. Now a variable, as it should be meaningful, it should also not have spaces in between. Now you cannot have something like addition is or addition 1. You cannot have space in between a variable name, and it should also not start with a number. You cannot have 1 addition, 2 addition, or any variable starting with a number will be an error. Okay. So what are the two things to remember? First one, a variable cannot have space in between, and second, a variable cannot start with a number. Third important thing is a variable cannot be any reserved word. Now what are reserved words? Words that are used by Python itself are called as reserved words. Now on the screen, if you see, these are some reserved words. There are few reserved words that you cannot use as a variable. So, and you don't have to memorize this. Once you start writing the program, you will automatically understand this. The second command that we are going to learn is input statement. Now, what is input statement? I will save this program and I'll create a new file, create new text file. Okay, and then I will save it. File, save. Save will be, I'll name it as input command .py. Now giving py is very important. Why? Because this is a Python file and the code editor that is our Visual Studio Code will help us giving us suggestions. This is the line here. What I'll do is I'll write the print statement again. Print, what is your name? Okay, I'll give space. So what will happen? What will happen if I run this? I'll just clear the screen. What will happen if I run this program? It will print what is your name and the program is ended. It has come down, right? But instead of writing print, if I write input, okay, if I write input and if I run it, what will happen is it is executed, it is run, what is the name, and now the cursor is waiting here. It is waiting for us to enter something. Suppose I write some name, okay, and press enter. The program has ended. So what is the difference between a print and an input command? I'll just clear the screen and again run it. So before input, it was print. What happened with the print statement? When I run it, it executed, it printed what was there in the double quotes and the program ended. But in the input, what happens is once you run the program waits, the cursor waits here. After the statement, Python is waiting here for us to enter something. Okay, and once I enter something and press enter, the program ends. So what you have understood by this? Input command is basically accepting input from the user. Now input can be anything. It can be a character, it can be a number, it can be a special character, anything. So once you enter something, what happens to this? The context, the text that you have entered, what happens to this? Basically the entire string gets converted into this string. Okay, I'll show you an example. So what we will do is we will save this entire input in a variable. I'll name the variable as name is equal to. So I've used the variable name, and in that I have used input command and have written what is your name. And when I come down, I'll print this name. Okay. Now question to you, why I have not used double quotes here? Because name is not a string. It is a variable. I don't want to print name. I want to print whatever is stored in this name. And what will be stored in this name? It will come from the input statement. Let us execute this. You will understand. Okay. So if I run, what is your name? I say Mahesh. If I click enter, it prints Mahesh. It has printed name. Okay. More clearly, if you want to see, I'll write it here. The name entered is comma name. Okay, this is how the print statement is written, right? Whatever you want to print in double quotes, separated by a comma by a variable. Okay, I'll again run this. If I run this, it will come here. Ahan. Press enter. The name entered is Ahan. This is how the input command works, right? Input commands waits for the user to enter something, and once it enters, we can store whatever the user has entered in a variable and use it. We will be using print and input every time, everywhere in all the programs, so you will get used to it. Now, what we are going to do is we'll write program that is finding the length of a string, whatever the user enters. Okay, for that what I'll do is click on file, new text file, go to file, save it, and we'll give the file name length.py. Okay. So what is the program that we are going to write? I'll just clear this. What is the program that we are going to write is we will accept a string from the user. Suppose the user enters Rachit. So how many characters is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So this is 6 characters. So the length of the string is 6. So we'll write a program that whatever the user enters, the program will find the length of that string. Okay. So how to write the program? The first statement will be input, correct? We have to get the input from the user. Input, enter any string. Okay. Now, after this input, we should store this input somewhere, right? So what we will do is we will store this in a variable named nm. Okay, you can take any variable. Whatever the user enters will be stored in this nm variable, and we have to print the length of the string, right? We will find the length. So length, this length variable. If you are getting confused, I'll use the L variable. Okay, just L. L is equal to, there are inbuilt commands that we can use. For example, there is a len command, len, which gives you the length of any string. So if I type into bracket this variable nm, what happens is, this len command is an inbuilt command of Python, and it will give the length of any string entered. Okay, now come down. I can write print the length of entered string is the variable L, right? Come on, let us execute this program and I'll explain you again. Okay, enter any string. So I'll click here and enter a string. Suppose I enter India and press enter. The length of the string, length of the enter string is L. What is L? L is length of nm, that is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is it correct? How did it find the length? Because of the inbuilt command of len. And how does that work? Len into bracket, any string you put, it will give the length of that string. We will do one last program where we will input numbers from the user and we will do the additions of those numbers. Okay, a simple program to understand how the print and input statement are used. So I'll click on file, new text file, go to file, again save the file as addition.py. Okay, so for addition what we need? 2 numbers, right? But we'll get those numbers from the users. So we will use the input command and we will save that in a variable. So FNO, that is first number I want to say, or I say first is equal to input command, enter first number please. Okay, now why I'm giving this colon? It is not necessary, it is not compulsory, it is not in the syntax, it is just for a string to look better. Okay, so enter first number, then second is equal to input please, then addition is equal to first plus second. Okay, print the addition is addition. Okay, now is this right? We are missing something. Let us see. If I run this program, it will give a syntax error at line number 5. So at this line there is an error, and the error says it is invalid syntax. That means we have written something wrong in the print statement. So it is starting with bracket, ending with a bracket, but what is missing is we have not separated a string and a variable by a comma. I'll clear this first and then we'll execute this program. So enter first number, I'll enter 5, enter second number, I enter 7. The addition is 52. Okay, what has happened here? What has happened here? 52. Why it has done that? Because we have learned that plus is a concatenation string. Concatenation means it is basically adding the first and the second. Now this first and second are not in double quotes, right? They are not in double quotes. They are not like this, correct? If it was like this, it would have actually written first second, right? First, second concatenated. But it is not in double quotes. That means these are variables. But again, if these are variables, so first is number 5 and second is number 2, and it is concatenating these two numbers. The reason is whenever we don't specify what kind of variables these are, it will always consider the variables as string. So what has happened is the number stored in first, that is 5, is considered as a string. That means it is considering first number as 5 and second number as 2, like this. So it is considering them string. So for that reason, again, there is an inbuilt command in Python. Whenever we are dealing with numbers, this is one of the ways you can convert a string into an integer, writing an int in front of it. So now what it will do is addition of the first integer first and integer second. It will not consider them as a string. It will consider them as an integer, as a number. So if I run this program again, if I enter now 5 and 2, it will give me an addition is 7. Okay. So I just wanted to explain you print and input and the various ways that we can use print and input statements. Try out more programs using print, using input statement. We will be anyways using print and input in lots of programs ahead. We also saw what are syntax. We also saw some type conversion, like we converted a string into an integer. In the next video, we will see what are data types, what are type conversions. We will see what are operations. We will also see what is an f string and how it is used while using variable in print statement, and how we can optimize few of the lines that we have written today. The video is not ended yet. I'll be explaining each and every command in a depth and detail that you won't have problem in understanding them in any other language also. So it will be easy for you to learn any other language by yourself. So subscribe to the channel for that reason, those who have not subscribed, and click on the like button if you really liked the way I have taught. Write in the comments if you have some suggestions. Please let me know. I'll help you out. Till then, see you in the next video. Bye.